So we're back at Free Code Camp. I apologize for the maybe different demeanor. This break was actually a full day break instead of a 10-minute break like anticipated. So if I remember correctly, we were stuck on, this is where we're changing our code, and we were stuck on trying to generate two random numbers that will work in our range. So in this case, we use floor, and we're going to generate a random, and then times it by whatever the max minus the min is. That's how we're going to get our range, plus 1, and then plus the min range. So in this case, it would return null, because there's no max. So we want to put in my max and my min, and we want to change this as well. And we need to change this. So let's say our max is 10, or our min is 10, and our max is equal to 100. So run the test. There we go. So we generated 79. So we run it again, 22. Not too shabby. Alright, let's see. Create a new if statement. And we also want to create an else. And my function should return a heads or tails. So if flip this equal to, oh wait, no. Well, my function should, so I should return either heads or tails. So if, what's going on down here? Bar result. So if result is equal to, so we have our if and we have else, should return heads or tails. So if okay, I'm sorry, I'm return tails, else return heads. So my function should return heads when flipped equal to 0, or tails when flip is equal to 1. So if flip is equal to 1. I was like, that was throwing me off. What do we put in our if statement? Return tails, return heads. Cool. And that should be good to go. Heads is not defined. And it's not a variable that we're returning a string. So put quotation marks, that's right. Cool. So we flipped to 0 and it returned heads. We flipped to 1 and it returned tails. Sift through text with regular expressions. Your regular expression should find two occurrences of the word and. Oh my god, I just did regular expressions. They're pretty awful. To find the word and test string. So, regular expressions. G is pattern. I'm so bad with regular expressions. So I believe at .and, this is going to look, when we use period, it's going to look for the words of and. So it's going to check words that are including and to find the word in the test string. So I thought we were doing that correctly. Use regular expressions to find the word and in test string. So the G means that we want to search the entire string. Cool. And the I means that doesn't matter. We don't care. It's not case sensitive. And this says find and. So run test. It finds it twice. So I'm going to go to the help section because I think we're doing everything correctly. It wasn't help, it was... And this was sift through text with regular expressions. Cool. So let's copy this. Oh, it already pulled it up. Cool. Let's see what this first guy says. Huh, it looks like they want us to add a plus onto here. But it's not. So what we're doing is creating a string that we're using the match, saying, hey, does it follow this pattern and the string, the regex pattern? But it looks like there might... Is that what they want? It looks like they tried to fix this one because the text is slightly different. Hey guys, after rereading the prompt, this dot that I thought I was supposed to include in there, I am not. So when we run it, it's going to look for and in this case it returns 2 of them. So sometimes you'll do this. I literally just did this for a Java servlet last week, where I had to create a login form that went through the that checked all your used regular expressions to check to make sure that passwords were put in correctly, that emails were in the correct form, and like they had an @ and a .com. So these are things you kind of will use, but 9 times out of 10 you'll just kind of, they're a pain in the ass. You'll just have to go online to see how to do it. But that's cool. At least if you understand how it works, it's just a matter of getting it to the next level. So in this case, we want, there are 3 cats but 4 dogs. We want 2 for numbers. Is this regular to match multi-digit numbers? So in this case, it looks like we want to check for numbers. So we're going to do where's our // // and in between here we're going to put d plus, oh, and then we have 1 too many. Okay, so /d, what we're actually adding is just /d, and we can take and leave the plus on there. Plus following to match multi-digit numbers. So the plus is on there, so we're not working with just 0 to 9, I think is what it's saying. And then /d Number is select the number of numbers in the string line for the plus. All right, so D is going to select how many numbers are in the string, and if we look, we have a 3 and a 4. Cool. Again, regular expressions are kind of like a pain, but there's entire sites where you can go and they use a regex builder, and it's kind of cool stuff. So in this case, we're looking for space, and the way we do that is with a /s. All right, so we have a /s, and that's a look for the empty spaces and look for all of them. So how many empty spaces are there? 7, and you can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So cool. This is actually a nice introduction to regular expressions. I don't think we did any in Codecademy. Which is sad because granted it's a little more complicated, a little different. Everything should be included. And so say we want to count everything that's not an empty space, it's just /s. And so everything else, it's going to be 49 in this case. So there's probably, if we were to count the spaces in this, there's 56 characters. Create a JavaScript slot machine. All right. Are we done? I feel like that just took a random jump. Oh no, we're still in it. What's the last one? Slot 1 should be a random number. So, we're going to set this equal to math dot. No, it's capital M. Math dot random. And what do we want to put in here? For this, we'll need between 1 and 3 to represent the possible values. So, generate random numbers. So in this case, it looks like they already had prepared our math.floor. So this will be between 1 and 3. And then we'll do the same thing for this as well. And this as well. So in theory, if it generates a 1, a 2, or a 3, and there's 3 of them, there should be 27 combinations. Is it 2? No, it's 2 to the 3rd power, which is 8. There should be 8 combinations, I think, if I remember that correctly. So what happens here? So there's a lot going on here. Obviously, this is all CSS. They have some divs, and we're gonna be probably customizing this already. But you have a little bit of JavaScript running here, and then this looks like some sort of output. And this is making sure that they're not null. And then we generate some. All we really did here was generate numbers between a 1, a 2, and 3. So this generates a percentage. This, we're going to times it by 3 minus 1, because we want to go between 1 and 3. So our max is 3, our min is 1, plus 1, and then we add one more here. There's probably a simpler way to do this, but this is what it needs to do. So it just looks a little redundant because we have a minus 1 plus 1 when we could just do 3. But it's only working because we're only working with 3 inputs. So if all 3 of our random numbers are the same, we should return that number. Otherwise, we should return null. Alright, so we want to create an if statement here. So what's basically going on is we want to return null if all the slots are not equal to 1, 2, or 3. So all we have to do is compare the 3 numbers. So we'll say slot 1, if slot 1 is not equal to slot 2, or slot 2 is not equal to slot 3, do some stuff. So if slot 1 not equal to slot 2, check. All right, is slot 2 not equal to slot 3, check. So we're checking both of them. So we don't need to make it any more complicated than that. We can just check the middle one to see if the outsides are not equal. So only two, if either one of those are not, we want to return null. So if they're all not equal to 1, return null. So oh, and make sure we wanted to do not equals. There we go. Not a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Yeah, so we're checking to make sure they're not equals. I could make sure you do that correctly as well. Alright, you should be displaying the result of the slot numbers in the corresponding slots. Cool, so we're writing our code here. And so we want to, are we using jQuery? Okay, cool. So we're going to use jQuery, and this is already wrapped in a script. So we should be okay, I believe. Where's our document already? Alright, so in this case, this is using an onClick function, so that when onClick it does. That's what's going on here, run slots. In our case, we want to select a, so what do we, let's find our elements. So we have slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, slot insert. I was going to say, I think we need to map it to one of these, but can we see what the name of this is? Okay, I guess it's just div slot insert dot slots 1. Yeah, okay, that's how they do it here. Okay, so we want to select the HTML variable. And the way they give us an example here, we want to select the dot slot class. So you can see right here, these are all dot slot. And we're actually going to select a certain one. We're going to select the first one, which we'll do with that. And then the dot HTML, we want to put HTML to, where do we want to put in there? We want to put slot 1. So now when if we did that correctly, it looks like we didn't do that correctly. Dot slot. Should have used the doing a little bit of research on the forum. I realized what my mistake was, and I am kind of lost, so I apologize. I won't be able to explain this as well. So the first thing we did wrong was we needed to do quotations in here. It's a simple mistake. Next, we obviously need to change these, but we knew that. But for whatever reason, when we use .text here, even though it doesn't mention anything like that, it will change. That's what we need to get the first value in there. Is how I was understanding it from the gentleman's description. So this is the working code that will work for this. But to work over it, we're grabbing the first slot, which is this box right here, and then we are inserting our random number right here, which is a 1, a 2, or a 3, and then we're doing it again for the where in. So when we run it, you see 2, 3, 3. You also see on the bottom. A little bit confusing because I'm not really quite sure why we needed to use .text, but I was looking for a minute, and that was the solution that I found. So use the provided code 3 times, 1 for each slot. Okay. So let's do the first thing we do. And slot 1 minus 1. You should have dot slot at least. You should have used. So what happens when we run this? Nothing currently. Alright. So Let's try changing this to slot 2 minus 1. And we'll do slot 3 minus 1. And right here we need to use dot slot. So here's how he says. Ooh. Okay. I see what's going on here. So these are actually all generating images to the same thing. So let's go 1, 1, 1, and then we'll do it one more time. Alright, took me a second to understand what the code was doing, but once you run it, it's very intuitive. So we're essentially generating 3 random images. Except now we're generating them all at the same time instead of not randomly. Although they didn't ask us to do it randomly. You should have it used. One, now we'll do 2. There we go. I think we just have too much going on here. So let's go ahead and control that out. Let me run it and that'll all work. So what's happening here is now they're just getting one of the random images. We didn't need to create as many as I did there. Oh, there's our cherry one. Cool. Is that it? I think we're done. Let me see here. Yeah, we just finished basic JavaScript. So up next, guys, we are in the last hour before we get into the basic algorithm scripting. And this stuff right here, this is going to be the stuff that is going to be the beginning of the challenging and full on stuff. Like we can, you know, if you wanted to sit down, I'll probably knock this out today. So anyhow, that was JavaScript. We stumbled a little bit on the last parts, but that's okay. You know, we're still learning, and let's learn together. So anyhow, thanks for supporting the channel, and if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave me a message, and if there's anything you wanted more information about, feel free to comment, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That'd be great. And leave me a comment letting me know what you liked about the video and what you didn't like about the video. See you next time.